if you have a wife or a girlfriend, that's okay, because you're going to still need these skills to pick up customers. If you have a wife and girlfriend, or girlfriend, if you have a wife and girlfriend, you might have an issue unless she's down. And if she's down, then maybe you're watching the scope because you want to know how to pick up chicks. I don't know. Here's the deal. 2016, probably the worst year of my business, worst year of my personal life, worst year of freaking everything. It was just a shit show of a year. Everything freaking failed, right? And I had this big house of cards up, and I'm like balancing it, right? I'm like balancing it all out, and then it started to tremble, and I like put it together, right? And I had it. I was like, oh, I got this, right? Eventually, that house of cards came down, and it came down hard, and it needed to come down because I need to reinvent myself. It's something I do every like 5 years. I always kind of reinvent myself. And I needed to move into the next phase of my life. Good, bad, positive, this, that. So, I've studied this subject about picking up customers, about picking up chicks pretty extensively in like the last few months. And when I was in college, I wasn't having a lot of success in the lady department early on. I noticed a lot of other dudes having success, and I was like, what's going on? What am I doing wrong? So you know what I did? I went to the freaking bookstore, okay? A lot of people don't do that when they have problems. I go to the freaking bookstore. I get the real sources, and I go ahead and I just get the information. I'm a huge fan of getting the information. For young dudes wanting to learn sales, wanting to learn how to pick up girls, either way, they're both the same thing, okay? We're going to talk about social proof and processes and higher value and lower value. Here's the deal. Excellent book called The Mystery Method. It's a little unconventional, but it's actually a sales book. It's actually an SOP. The first SOP I wrote was off of this book. This is an SOP. This is a if this, then that situation book. And what's amazing about it is I read the book, studied it, read it multiple times, went out and I tried some of the tactics, and guess what? They're freaking successful tactics. They work all of the freaking time. So I wake up this morning, and I'm super delayed, I'm super behind, I'm like, crap. I had to reset myself and go, okay, I'm going to happen to life. Life is not going to happen to me. This is huge. This is kind of a male scope. This is huge for you males, all of you guys watching. This is huge. You as a male happen to life. There's a guy I follow named Elliot House. He's a freaking bodybuilder. He's awesome. He's on YouTube. I watched this stuff on getting your ex-girlfriend back, right? It's one subject I was very interested in a few months ago. And so I'm watching his stuff, and he's like, as a male, males happen to life. Females, they take in life. And he's got a whole 8-minute video on it. It's freaking fantastic. I love the guy. I would recommend checking him out. But I decided today I was going to go out and crush it. So I go out and crush it, and I go to the CMT thing, and everything's just kind of cruising along. This is where I want to talk about the funnels of customers and chicks. So you're going to have a way to get initial contact. If this is a customer thing, your initial contact, we can talk about the online game, because that's why everyone likes to chill in the online game, because who doesn't like to sit at a desk, right? Sit at a desk and get results. Everybody likes to do that because it's easy. And guess what? The results are not that good. Per percentage, I'll tell you why. People online are not invested as they are in person. So that's where we're going into the Tinder, Thumbtack, Nextdoor.com, any of that type of stuff. They're not as invested as they're going to be in an in-person meeting. Let's go ahead and shoot off right off with Tinder, right? If you're a dude, this is the sales funnel. Swipe right. Doesn't matter. Don't look at pictures. Don't waste time. It's about getting matches. It's about getting all of the matches. Once you have all of the matches, then you sift through the matches. You unblock them, block them. You're like, whoa, nope, no. Block them all out. Now you've got your matches, right? Now that you have your matches, it's time to take it to the next platform. With customers, it's the same way. They're on your website, they're on your blog, they're checking it out. What is the next platform? In both cases, it is the telephono, okay? If chicks, it is texting. With customers, it's becoming texting or email. So here's the deal. You're moving into the text or you're moving into the email, and the whole purpose of the next level. So now you've got them on the phone, like you're the internet, right? Internet, whatever the hell you guys want to do it. It could be blog, it could be Google pay-per-click, it could be whatever the hell. But the point here being is that phone call. Phone call, text message. If it's with a chick, it's going to be text message. Try the phone call thing, it does not work. You've got to text first, okay? You've definitely got to text first. In addition to that, texting and calling, customers and chicks, has one purpose, and you need to understand this. It's a meetup. It's not a, oh, how you doing? Here's my life story, this and that. Nobody gives a shit. She doesn't give a shit. Let me explain to you why. With customers and chicks, it's about perceived, or actual, should be actual, higher value. Nobody likes to be with a low value bro. Nobody. And if you want to have a lot of success, you want to be a high value individual. The point of a text, the point of a call, any of that stuff is to set up a meeting. That's the whole point. So it's like, hey girl, can I get your number? Wrong deal, okay? Wrong deal, guys. Don't ask questions. You're a male. You happen to life. You make life happen. You push into life. That's what you do. Women, they take in life. Life comes to them, right? Options come to them, and they sift through those. You, as a male, go, I like that. I'm going to go get that. I'm going to hunt that. I'm going to bring that back. That's what dudes do, period. In your business, that's what you're doing. You're like, here's where I am. Here's where I want to go. Here's how I'm going to get there. Bust ass time. And that's what you do. You put that out, and you keep going, right? And so, high value, low value. This is where you can screw up with customers and chicks with the phone call and the texting in this part. So you've got them on an online platform. I'd like to talk about the in-person platform, which we will. Which we'll definitely talk about the in-person platform. But you've got them, and now you've got a phone number, and that's the whole purpose, is to get to the point where you get to a phone number, where you get to a texting situation, you get to an emailing situation with that customer. And the whole reason that you even have that step at all is to get to a meeting. If you can skip that step, do that, okay? If you can skip that, you're like, oh, can I get your number? It's like, I don't need that. Let's set up a meeting. Let's set up a date. What are you doing Friday? Wrong question. Don't ask it. Tell her what she's doing Friday. You'll have a lot better success. Much better success. Worst thing that people can say in life is no. Big fucking deal. Because here's the deal. With your funnels, with your sales funnels, wherever they're coming from, it is a volume number game. I had a guy working with me last year named Casey. Casey's got these girls, right? He's talking to these girls. I'm like, Casey, what the hell's going on? You've been texting on your phone all day, trying to get some Bobcat stuff done. Give me your damn phone. Let me get this freaking done. Dude, you've got 25 text messages here. You don't have a single date. You should have 2 text messages here and have a meeting time, and then shut up, because you can only lose. You can only lose on text messaging. It is one of those things like walking on ice. There's no benefit, all right? There's no benefit except to get to the end goal, which is a meeting. Once you have a meeting, it's important to book a meeting out of a meeting. This is that. You go there, you give them a quote. Book a meeting, book a follow-up, book a, hey, we'd love to get you set up for your deposit and to get everything flagged and marked and da-da-da. Book a meeting out of a meeting. Even if they're not sure, they can always cancel on you, but at least you have a meeting set out of a meeting. Let me move forward with the in-person deal, because the in-person deal is how businesses are built and it's how relationships honestly are going to be built. In-person meetings are the way to go. That is flyers. That is going out to the bars and the clubs and all that type of stuff, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all because it's a very, very competitive field. So, in-person meetings, my day-to-day. I'm going through AMT stuff, I'm getting this stuff done, I'm getting all my forms, right? I've got a good attitude. I didn't let getting up late dictate my day. I was like, you know what, it's cool, I'm going to get there on time. Worst case is I'm 10 minutes late, whatever. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal. It's fine. It's like an informational meeting. It's not a big deal. I got to do some paperwork. That's why they want you there early anyway. I probably do the paperwork in 5 minutes. It's not a big deal. So I show up, right? And at the end of it, I turn to my paperwork, and the girl at the counter is like, Travis, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't recognize you. I don't know who you are. She's like, oh, it's Kelsey from whatever, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, I totally remember you, right? This is important because she's the chick that kind of decides who's getting into these type of classes, and I kind of need to get in this class in August. And so I'm like, awesome. I'm going to be super nice to you right now. I'm not going to go for a number. I'm not going to be creepy like that at all. But I know that I'm going to see you later on in the week. She's super nice, and I'm very nice to her because I happened that morning, right? So, like, I showed up with an awesome attitude. I showed up with high energy. Everyone else was around me, and this is something for the young guys. My dad always told me in 8th grade, I was a little distraught. I was like, man, Dad, like, I want to go to the 8th grade dance, and it's kind of a big deal. I want to take a girl, this and that. And my dad's like, dude, just your problem is that you're going for too low. He's like, you're going for like 6s, 7s, maybe 8s. He's like, the 10s and the 9s, dude, no one talks to them. Nobody ever goes for the best customers out there. No one ever goes for the hottest chicks. Ever. And you would think that it would be like that. You would think there'd be a ton of competition. Wrong. There's a shit ton of competitions for 6s and 7s. There's no competition for 9s and 10s. nobody is talking to them because they get tripped up when they talk to them. They're not talking to them in the proper way, right? So you show up to a 9 or a 10. Remember, you're a high-value male because you're in the on-site army. And you show up and you talk to them and you want to be in a position where you're kind of nonchalant about giving a fuck, if that makes sense. The idea there is that you don't really care. The reason you don't really care is because it's a numbers game. It's a volume game. You can afford a couple strikeouts, okay? Because fuck it. We'll be at the plate like in another hour. It doesn't really matter because as long as you keep on going with volume, right, you're going to figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and you're going to have higher rates of success. And the higher rates of success are going to turn into what's called social proof. And social proof is like when you have one customer, it's really hard to get a second customer. When you have 100 customers, it's easy to get another customer. Same thing with girls. When you're talking to 3 or 4 girls, it's really easy to get another 3 or 4 girls' number. When you're talking to 0 girls, it's really hard to get a phone number. By the way, Onsite Army hashtag. I want you guys to hit that on your Instagram. I want you to send the most baller photo on your own Instagram and hashtag one of the hashtags. Put a ton of hashtags on there. But one of the hashtags needs to be Onsite Army. And the baddest photo tomorrow, I'm going to repost on my Instagram. There's like 8,000 Instagram followers. And that's important because there's social proof on my Instagram. And that's important for customers because the customer's like, oh, I can't find your website. And that's because I pulled the website down for the minute because we got a new one going up next week. So like it's down, it's up, this, that. So I was like, yeah, just check out my Instagram. She's like, oh, wow, yeah, okay, cool, just come on out here. And I was like, oh, high value business. I charge for estimates. I charge $250 to go do an estimate. And she's like, okay, yeah, that's great, that's fine. That's who I want. I just sifted through my customers, my potential customers, all the people that want me to come out and look at a pine tree for them. Those people aren't paying $250. But all the people that have like 10 acres that want to like get it cleared and they're willing to spend like 40 grand, they're willing to pay $250 to have a guy come out and look at the property and give them the advice because they know like, dude, obviously you kind of know what the fuck you're doing, right? Let me get back to the high value male versus low value male. Most bros are low value males. And the reason that they're low value males is one, I'm going to hit this, I'm going to not beat it like a dead horse, but I should. One, feminazis are running this shit right now, okay? The feminists are going freaking crazy, and then they're sexually frustrated, and they're wondering why. Because they're freaking killing off masculinity. And I'm not going to dive into the whole religious argument behind it and everything else, but the point there being is that, yeah, I just went there. Yeah, I'm going there, all right? But the whole point there being is that bros, as they get older and older, and if you guys, a lot of you guys are in high school, don't worry about it, all right? Because I can tell you straight up, you keep doing what you are doing, right? Women are attracted to men on the move, on the hunt, guys that are out making it happen, right? So it's not about the truck you drive, it's not about how big your business is, it's the fact that you are moving forward in life. And most dudes will get to a point and they will plateau. And it doesn't matter when they plateau, but the second they get that beer gut and they're sitting on the couch with a beer watching Netflix, that's when it fucking happens, all right? That's when it happened, that's when they plateau, that's when they got comfortable, that's when they decided, you know what, fuck it. This is where I like to be in life, and it's all good. And maybe they have a wife, maybe they don't have a wife. At that point, they're probably settled with what they have. One thing about having a wife, if you are not dating her, if you are not actively pursuing her, somebody else is. So understand that. My buddy Justin told me that. He's like, dude, if you're not dating your girl, somebody else is. Period. And that is why you want to be a dude on the move. You want to be a guy that's constantly pushing forward. You want to be a business that's constantly improving. You're not getting bad reviews or you're getting bad things happening inside of your business, right? And then you're just sitting there and just like letting that happen to you. You want to be like, okay, yeah, this isn't working in my business. I need to change this. I need to make something here change. When a business becomes stagnant, when a male becomes stagnant, it's fucking over. Like that's just it. It's freaking over. I felt like in 16, I got to a point where I was somewhat stagnant, if that makes sense. Where I was just kind of chilling. I wasn't necessarily improving. I wasn't really getting any feedback. The people that I had surrounded myself with, even in my love relationship, like everything was just kind of like, they weren't fighters. You know what I mean? They weren't, you know what I mean? Like they just weren't like, yeah, let's ride or die. Like they just weren't like that. And so it was like, all right, I need to change my social circle here. You change up the wolf pack. And I need to move forward. I need to get like things that I want to get done, like my boat captain, my pilot's license, EMT school. I need to get these things freaking done. I need to get these things handled. And so you got this funnel. You've got lots and lots of leads coming through this funnel, right? Now let's talk about in-person leads, because I think for a dude this is super important. If you're going to do the nighttime game, the bars, the clubs, that type of thing, just understand that the cards are stacked against you. And I was like, man, what went wrong there? One, I was a little rusty. I'm not going to lie. I was a little rusty. And then I was like, oh, dude, I'm in a terrible environment, right? I'm at a bar at 1 a.m. when it's closing up, right? Trying to hit on the bartender. Like, come on, bro. Like, how many other dudes are doing that, right? So, and I realized, like, the second I struck out, right? Like, the second I struck out, I pretty much knew. I was like, yeah, I got to reset this frame. Like, I just totally lost the frame here. So, I didn't get it. Didn't get the number originally. And then I was like, you know what? I'll see you in a month. And then I didn't see her for a month. I saw her 2 months later, and I didn't ask for her phone number. And when I left, she was like, wait a second, weren't you going to ask for my number? And I was like, nah, I don't really want it. And then she's like, well, let me just write it down for you just in case you do. And I was like, bingo. Because I stopped giving a fuck about getting the number, right? It didn't become important. I moved on, I did other shit. And the truth of it was, I didn't go out for freaking 2 months because I was building a damn house, right? Like, I was getting shit done. So it's like, oh, where you been for 2 months? I was working on a project. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm not like one of these bros that are here every freaking Friday night, every single Saturday night. When you see me, it'll be a treat. When I'm not around, then I'm not around. But, like, here's my number, I'll drop you a line. And all of a sudden, it's like a bait and switch. All of a sudden, it's like, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, now I want to see you. Before that, I just wanted you out of here. Another guy was asking for a number. Now I want you around, right? So the important thing here, that a high-value male doesn't stick around after strikeouts or doesn't stick around after rejections or whatever. It's a volume game. Same thing with customers. When you're knocking on doors and you're handing out flyers and you're getting rejected and this and that, it's okay because you're getting better at what you do. And when you get better at what you do, you're going to end up with better results. And when you get better results, you're going to end up with social proof. And that social proof is going to help you move forward in other aspects of it. I'm going to share with you because today I was pretty much hot on it, right? So today I get this packet for EMT school. They're like, you need this shot. I'm like, shit, I need to go to like a doctor immediately because the way this type of thing works is like in 5 days you turn in your application. It's the first day you turn in an application. Once 30 spots are booked for the whole like freaking area, 30 spots are booked. It's just what it is. Like, better luck next year. So I was like, all right, I need to be at like the top of this list. So I roll into a doctor's office, like an urgent care facility, just to get my stuff done. It's gonna be more expensive, but it's gonna be done immediately. And the second like I turn around to do my paperwork, this girl walks in, right? And I'm just like, and here's a key to approaching customers and a key to approaching chicks. Do not hesitate or delay. Don't be the creepy guy at a bar that's been sitting there and like after 20 minutes decides to make a move, right? Don't do that. It's immediate or it's nothing. It's immediate or it's nothing. And I know this, I was aware of it. I was like, today I'm going to freaking crush because I'm like kind of mentally moving on from my last, I'm fucking moving on, right? And so I'm like, all right. Girl walks in, drop dead gorgeous. Immediately I'm like, hey, how are you? She looks familiar, but I can't really figure out where she's from. I can't really figure it out. But I'm like, if I talk to her for a couple minutes, I might be able to put the pieces together. And then immediately he comes and I'm like, dude, I used to work out with your mom. Your mom was like the most rad chick I ever met. Like, she used to do kettlebells. We're talking like, she had 4 children. She has abs. Like, she is just an amazing lady, right? Super, super cool. She actually owns a contracting business. Like, she's just rad. And occasionally she'd bring her daughter with her, who's a little bit younger, to work out. And I was like, how are you, right? And so we sit down. Everything's good. I'm filling out all my paperwork. I'm talking to her casually. And, like, I'm building what's called rapport. And you have to do this with customers, and you have to do this with chicks. You have to basically build up trust. You have to get to the point where, like, they're opening up to you. Want to leave on a high note, okay? If you leave on a low note, or you take too damn long, alright? So you don't want to be, like, sitting there chatting for an hour, alright? That's not the freaking point here. The point there is you're chatting for 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and then as soon as you hit peak, you're getting a number, you're getting to a next meeting with the customer, you're getting to them to agree to a meeting, and then you're moving on. You're not waiting for it to get dead. Okay, yeah, I haven't had anything good to talk about. We've been talking about your freaking dog for 5 minutes. Hey, can I get your number? Because the answer is no, because you asked another fucking question. It has to be a statement. What's your number? Well, what's your number doesn't sound good after You've been talking about nothing for 5 minutes, right? So I move on into the doctor's office, and my like CDL medical is expired, so I need to get like a bunch of shit done today. So I'm just like getting it all done, and we're talking like 31-year-old like hot Indian doctor, like super smoking hot, right? And I'm like sitting down, and she's just like, "Is that your girlfriend?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "Oh, okay," because it kind of seemed like, you know, maybe that was your girlfriend. I was like, "I mean, maybe future girlfriend." You know what I mean? But no, definitely not my girlfriend. And immediately, this doctor is like, I don't even have to open it. Like, the doctor is just already like, "So, what do you do?" I was like, "Oh, you got to get my CDL thing fixed because, you know, like, do Bobcat stuff. I'm going to go to EMT school here in August and da-da-da," right? Demonstrating basically, like, through conversation, like, she's asking qualifying questions. Customers are going to ask qualifying questions too. Who have you worked for before? Have you worked for my neighbors? This or that. But mind you, she already saw my interaction with the girl outside. She asked, "Is that your girlfriend?" I'm like, "No, it's not my girlfriend." So automatically she's like, another girl really is digging, like, body language is saying she's kind of digging the conversation. Something here might be more interesting than like the last 5 patients I've had that come through here. And like, what's going on? Now the doctor, right, is asking me questions. Like, she's hitting on me, right? And I'm just kind of like, yeah, you know, like, I just want to get my CDL stuff done. And super hot doctor, like, don't get me wrong, right? But she's asking me all these qualifying questions, and she's starting to figure out, okay, wow, this guy's, like, doing shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a doctor, I have a doctorate degree, like, obviously, right? And this guy is doing shit, which is so unlike males that don't, right? Like, it's so freaking unlike it. And the reason that this happened, because if you look at it, right, her social status is way higher than mine. Like, we're talking, like, I'm the dude that went through a lot of shit, basically, like, ran a company into the freaking ground last year. Like, I'm gonna have to bankrupt that shit, right? Like, I'm, like, restarting to bounce back. And she's got her, like, doctorate degree, probably making, like, 4 times what I make, right? But because I had the social proof of the interaction outside, like the social proof of another customer, right? The social proof of another project, it's easier to get your foot in the door moving forward. And that's what you guys need to understand. And that's why it's a high volume game. But here's the deal. You've got these funnels. And you got in-person funnels. And what I love about in-person funnels is that people are invested in that in-person funnel. The reason I charge for estimates is because I want my customers or future customers to be invested in what I'm doing. Right? I don't want them to just, I don't want to be a free estimate, right? Because I don't want them to not be invested. Now I'm invested and they're not invested. So I make them heavily invested. A lot of people are like, $250 for an estimate? Yes. Because they're super invested. And if they're not super invested, they're probably not going to move forward with like a $4,000, $10,000 land clearing project. And I don't want to freaking mess with them because that's my customer. People are spending anywhere from like $1,000 in 4 hours to like 10 grand in 4 days. That's my customer. And if you're not spending that in that amount of time, that's not, I don't screw with it, right? So it does make sense. If it's a lawn estimate, it's a landscape estimate, if it's whatever, you got to figure out what's right, you know? $50, this, that, and figure out something you can leave more value. Like, so if you want to up your price, just up your value. You just got to figure that out. The online funnels are still important. Both of the interactions, I like the ones that are in person, okay? Because it's a little bit, I just feel weird with online stuff. I like online customer stuff. I just would rather get in-person stuff. The best in-person stuff is referrals. So a referral from another person because of social proof and a whole lot of other mess of things that make that a feasible option. But with all funnels, it's about volume. It's about numbers. I told this with Casey. I was like, bro, not every girl turns into a meeting or a date, okay? You need to be talking to like 10 so you can end up getting like 5 dates. And then you need to take 5 of them out so you can end up having like 3 good dates. And then you like redate 2 of them and then you funnel it down to like the next girlfriend. Like, that's how it freaking works. You're moving forward. You got the social proof. You've got this funnel of activity, right? If it's online or if it's in person, there's one goal to that activity. There's one goal, and that is to get a number. And the only reason to get a number is to get a meeting. All right, so you're getting a number or an email from your customer, from a potential girlfriend, from a potential lover, from whatever. And the whole purpose there is to move it into a meeting. And once you get a meeting, you always book a meeting out of a meeting. My dad taught me that. Always book a meeting out of a meeting. Always. Why wouldn't you? Right? Because then it's set in stone. Like, you don't have to freaking worry about it. Otherwise, you go out, you have a great time, things change in their life, things change for the customer. Other people go out, right? Other people bid them, and then you kind of become ranking number 2 or 3 in their life, chicks or customers. So if you set a meeting, even if someone else comes around after you, and they maybe have a better date or a better quote or better whatever, at least you already have that meeting. That meeting might get canceled, right? Nothing you can do about that. But you've already got it set up. And that's a freaking key. So you book a meeting out of a meeting. And then at the end of it all, what's going to help you close on those deals is going to be social proof. I can go on and on about this stuff. I might put a lot of this stuff out on my YouTube channel. I love it. I've been through a ton of this stuff. I bought all the online courses on this stuff. Sales and customers and chicks and all that type of stuff. And I just freaking love it. And there's so many parallels to this. When I go through my journals, that's one thing I do a lot. I have spiral journals. And I would recommend everybody do this. I buy these by like 10 of them at a time. Like 10 of them at a time. And I just journal a lot of shit. Right? And I try to draw dichotomies, I try to draw parallels, and I try to figure out the secrets of success. I mean, that's really what I try to do. And so I like sharing that with you guys. I like sharing this stuff. And I also like seeing you guys be more successful than I ever could have been. There's a couple of you guys like Larson Lawn Care. He's like, I don't know, he's like 15. He's got like a go-kart. He tows his like 10 by 12 trailers, 10 by 8 trailer or whatever around. And like, he's got a 0 turn and he's like freaking crushing it. Like, he's probably legitimately making more money than his parents. You know what I mean? And I freaking love that. And he's one of the guys that tunes into this stuff, tunes into my stuff, other dudes' stuff. And I like helping you guys be more successful. All right? My whole thing here is like, when the younger guys are like in their 20s, you guys are going to be rolling like chartered jets, like straight up. I'm going to be on those chartered jets, so I'm like all about it. So I'm all about helping you guys in any way that I can. And when you're a young guy, it's super frustrating when you just don't have that shit figured out, right? And in the age of YouTube or books, they call them pickup artist books, basically. But in the age of that type of stuff, if you get that type of knowledge younger, you'll notice patterns and you'll have a mental model that you'll be able to look at human interaction. Sometimes I'll go to a bar, I'll go to like a lunch or something like that, and I'll just look at people interacting, and I'm just like, oh, there it is. She's showing indicators of interest. Or, oh, there it is. Like he's clear, like, and you just see these things happening, and then you're able to learn from everything around you that much faster. Right? So I'm always picking things up in my environment. Whenever I'm walking around, whenever I'm doing anything, I'm always noticing things that I read, things that I listen to podcasts in the truck and the Bobcat all day long, because I'm constantly trying to improve my game, constantly trying to improve my success, constantly trying to improve the amount of skills that I have so that when opportunities walk in the door, I don't miss them, right? I'm just there and I'm ready to freaking act on them. And that is how you have a successful and prosperous life. You don't allow life to happen to you. You guys are males. You happen to it. All right? So you make it happen. You dictate your future. You dictate what's going on. You dictate how things are going to work and progress in your life.